Welcome to Sportpen.
Great to be here.
Today, we're really plunging into the captivating saga of Manny Pacquiao.
Absolutely. He's much more than just a boxer, isn't he? A real force.
Exactly. We want to explore those key moments, the relentless drive and those absolutely electric performances that made him a legend.
And maybe touch on what greatness even means in sports and how some athletes just seem to rewrite the whole story.
Yeah. What strikes you first about Pacquiao? For me, it's that it's not just about the wins.
No, it's that classic story of sheer will against, well, almost impossible odds. His motivation early on wasn't fame, it was basic survival.
Right. Let's start there. You've got this kid facing real poverty, moves to Manila super young, like 14.
Mm-hmm.
Living on the streets, working construction just to help his mom. That kind of background, it shapes everything.
It absolutely does. Boxing wasn't a hobby. It was, like you said, a lifeline. That need to provide, that was the initial engine.
And then the tragic part, losing his close friend, Eugene Burtag.
Yeah, that seems to have been a huge turning point. Really focused him, pushed him towards making boxing a real career professionally. Those deep personal moments often do.
It's hard to even fathom that kind of pressure so young. Before he went pro, he did join the Philippine national amateur team.
He did, yeah. That gave him some structure, room and board, And he apparently had a decent amateur record, something like 60 wins, 4 losses.
So he had that foundation.
Definitely. That amateur grounding, it was crucial. Gave him the basics, the discipline he'd build on later with his very unique style.
And then, bam, turns pro at just 16. 16!
No, and weighing, 98 pounds? He was actually under the minimum weight for mini flyweight?
Yeah, there are those stories, right, about him putting weights in his pockets just to make the 105-pound limit.
Shows the hunger, doesn't it? That kind of resourcefulness.
Totally. And that, combined with this really aggressive fighting style that they called it a go-for-broke kamikaze style.
Huh. Yeah, you can imagine. That, plus his look. The name, he became a star pretty quick on that local show, Blow by Blow.
That raw excitement he must have brought. And it paid off. Wins his pro debut in '95.
Unanimous decision.
And not long after, he grabs his first major world title. Flyweight. That's quite a start.
It really is, and it just set the stage for this completely unprecedented run through the weight divisions.
Okay, let's talk about that. 8 divisions. World champion in 8 different weights. Nobody else has done that.
Nobody. It's staggering. Think about it. Every time you move up, the opponents are naturally bigger, stronger. His ability to keep winning across that span is just, extraordinary. Shows incredible adaptation.
Just listing them is kind of mind-boggling. Super bantam, featherweight, super featherweight.
Where he actually held the lightweight title at the same time for a bit.
Right. Then light welterweight, where he spent a lot of time and even grabbed a light middleweight title.
It's almost like 3 different careers rolled into one. And look at who he fought in those divisions. Led Waba, Barrera, Morales, Marquez.
De La Hoya, Hatton, Cotto, Mosley, Thurman.
Exactly. Hall of Famers, legends, beating top guys consistently across that huge weight range. That speaks volumes about his skill and his dedication.
And it wasn't just overwhelming, guys. His technique was something else. That footwork.
Oh, the footwork. Poetry in motion, some call it. Really unconventional, but so effective.
Yeah, not textbook, but it worked. He could sidestep punches like lightning.
And create angles nobody else could. He won the foot position battle constantly. That was key to his offense, letting him generate power from weird spots, and key to his defense, making him so hard to pin down.
A moving target who could hit hard from anywhere.
Precisely.
And the combinations he threw. That classic double jab. Then it's a straight left to the body.
Sometimes adding the right hook.
Or he'd flip it.
Right.
Lead with the left downstairs to bring the guard down. Then crack the right hand over the top.
That variety kept guys guessing. You couldn't just settle in defensively against him because he'd show you something new, find a different opening.
Which takes us to those huge fights. The Lalo-led Waba fight, his U.S. debut, comes in as a late replacement.
And just blows him away. That was the announcement, really. The world suddenly knew who Manny Pacquiao was. Underdog, late notice, dominant win, huge shockwaves.
Then, maybe the biggest crossover moment, the Oscar De La Hoya fight. The dream match.
Which became a nightmare for De La Hoya, yeah.
Pacquiao jumps up 2 weight classes. He'd only had 1 fight at lightweight before that.
And he just dismantled a much bigger, legendary fighter. His speed, his power, it just seemed to negate the size difference completely. That fight basically retired De La Hoya?
It was a massive statement. Shattered expectations.
Absolutely. And then, the Ricky Hatton knockout.
Oh, man, 2009. Just devastating, like a lightning bolt.
It really was.
Yeah.
Showcased that power carrying up to light welterweight. People thought Hatton might give him trouble, but
Wow.
that left hand.
And, of course, you have to talk about the Morales and Marquez fights.
The epics, those trilogies, the quadrilogy with Marquez, those were defining rivalries. Incredible fights, back and forth.
Thrilling wins, but tough losses, too. That Marquez knockout in the fourth fight.
Brutal. But those wars, they showed his heart, his resilience. Even the losses became part of the legend, Showed he was human, but kept coming back.
And he did keep coming back. Even at 40 in 2019, wins another welterweight title.
Beats Bronner, then beats the undefeated Keith Thurman.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Think about that. He beat 4 guys ranked on the top 3 at welterweight during his career there. Cotto, Mosley, Bradley, Thurman, often giving up size, fighting around 148, 150.
That longevity, maintaining that level, that speed after all those ring wars, it's almost unheard of. Speaks to an incredible work ethic and conditioning.
Which connects to that militer mindset people talk about with him.
Yeah, that total focus, complete dedication. He wasn't just talented, he worked relentlessly.
And that belief he had. Success is sweet and sweeter if long delayed and gotten through many struggles and defeats. That mental fortitude seems just as vital as the physical talent.
Oh, absolutely. He was always learning, always evolving as a fighter, never just coasting. Look at his training that focused on the aerobic base, the long pad sessions, active recovery. He understood preparation deeply.
And kept that work ethic up even between fights.
Yeah.
Right? Not just ramping up for camps.
Exactly. That's championship mentality, making it a priority, always.
And his influence? It just exploded beyond boxing. He became this huge symbol for the Philippines.
A massive icon of national pride, uniting people across the country. Those stories about crime rates dropping to 0 during his fights, maybe exaggerated, but they speak to the phenomenon.
It's incredible cultural impact.
He really challenged stereotypes, gave people hope. His victories were felt so personally by so many Filipinos. It taps into that historical connection, like with Pancho Villa way back when.
Then he makes this huge shift into public service, gets elected to the House of Representatives, then the Senate.
Served 6 years in the House, yeah. Then elected senator in 2016. And apparently he was active, passing quite a few bills by 2019.
That's a serious pivot from professional athlete.
It is, and it seems driven by a genuine desire to use his influence for something more, retiring from boxing specifically to focus on public service.
And running for president, saying he wanted to tackle corruption as the root of poverty.
It shows a deep commitment to giving back, using his platform.
He also set up the Manny Pacquiao Foundation.
Right, partnering with groups, providing tangible help, housing, food, education for vulnerable kids.
And it seems legitimate, too.
Yeah.
Recognized for transparency and accountability.
Which is important. It shows it's not just for show. There's real work being done.
So when you pull back and look at the whole picture, the poverty, the boxing career, the impact, the public service, what defines his greatness? It feels like more than just the 8 titles.
Oh, it's a whole package, isn't it? It's the sheer longevity in such a brutal sport, fighting at the top level into his 40s.
After all those wars.
Exactly. It's the unprecedented 8 division titles, proving his adaptability. You could argue he had like 3 Hall of Fame careers in one.
Mm-hmm.
It's the massive cultural impact, becoming that symbol of hope for a nation. It's the transition to public service, the philanthropy.
And maybe just the way he fought. That excitement.
Definitely. He captivated people globally with that style. He wasn't just effective, he was thrilling to watch.
It really is an amazing story. Goes so far beyond sports. Resilience, chasing dreams, the impact one person can have.
Yeah, from the streets to global icon, then to senator and presidential candidate, it makes you think, what really makes a legacy? How does one life become so tied up with the whole nation's identity?
A lot to think about. Thanks for listening to Sportpen.